marches off at a time, you might have it, but it's really costly and you have to go back to Fountain. So if Empire runs a lineup that goes pipe mech and tries to push base at like 20 minutes, I'm thinking something like a Death Prophet, maybe Shadow Shaman support, like we've seen in many recent Chinese games actually. Those heroes are starting to get a lot of priority. That could be an opening for Empire, or as said, they get these kind of pick-off mechanisms. Nyx is banned though, so that's not an option, but I think a Clockwork from Mag here could really work. He is one of the best Clock players in my opinion, and so far so good I think as a pick in this game.
Is it really that great up against heroes like Tinker though? Because you need a Rocket Scout and they need to throw out obviously your ultimate to hook shut him down. But the main problem I've seen with Tinker is like this really quick rearm to blink away. You can never really 100% control where the Tinker is going to be moving. And when you do come in close to the Tinker, if he's got the E-Blade up and running that Clockwork, it's going to get nuked down. Like you can't attack him directly. So I'm looking for something else to control the Tinker. It's kind of like when I prefer something like a Storm Spirit, someone like you can keep following the entire time and still give the vision with the Remnant. The
problem for me with picking Storm here is that, I mean, against both Tinker and Lich it's great, but if you want to run Storm Spirit into a Tinker, you need to be careful playing against Beastmaster's Primal Roar, because you either need to item build against it by getting a Linken's, or you need to be prepared that after you open, you get locked down. The difference between those two heroes in Clockwork and Storm is that Clock opens and commits, but he's not supposed to solo Tinker in that regard, and he is less farm intensive as well. He does a lot more with less items, and Storm can easily backfire in this game. Now, you're right, when Tinker starts getting really strong, then Clock isn't as good against him anymore, but the thing is, many Tinker players are actually play in a very, very simple and predictable pattern, and I think Excalibur is no different in that regard. You will go to the lane where you see the farm, you'll stack up the jungle, but Clockwork is that Tinker has some very specific blinking spots that he will almost always go to when he goes to the lane, because that's where you're out of vision and where you can't get hit by many abilities. But it is, typical, right? But just to finish off on my trail of thought here, because the same actually applies to Storm, is that whether you're playing Clock or Storm, and whether you use the Rocket or the Remnant, if you know where Tinker is going before he blinks, you can actually get in and catch him off. And Storm and Clock have that thing in common, that when they open on the Tinker, he won't be able to rearm. Clock has the Battery Assault to keep him stopped, and Storm Spirit has a 2.5 second disable in Electric Vortex, which should be enough, and maybe has an Orchid or a Hex or whatever. So either of those two I thought were good, and you're going to be right this time around. God damn it.
It's okay, man. It's okay. This is allowed to happen every now and then. It's also because I talked to Resolution at DreamHack and just asked him like what it's like going up against Beastmaster and heroes like that, and he's like, every single time, man, if I can get the Beastmaster, I'm gonna take the Beastmaster if it is possible. And there's also something very different about the way Excalibur plays his Tinker. Like the way you were talking about, like if we're talking about Cloud9 right now and Eternal Envy's Tinker, I'd probably 100% agree with you, because he is very predictable for the pushing at the lanes, because he plays a Tinker with a Space Creator. Excalibur plays a rather over-aggressive Tinker that hunts the kills every single time. Like, he doesn't just hide in the trees all the time. He'll do that a lot, sure, and the stacking is done by Fnatic, but they try and burst his farm up to a point where he's able to work himself in. Like, he gets Ghost Scepter first, and then goes into the Dagon. Before even finishing the E-Blade, he goes straight into the Dagon, because he knows he's looking for the quick kills and to keep the momentum going. And then he'll come back and pick up more flash farming so he can get that 3,300 and finish the E-Blade. But he kind of plays like this position where you also overcommit yourself. And that's something which I'm interested to see how the Tinker works, because I know I was picking it apart with a couple of the guys at DreamHack, like the merits of Excalibur's Tinker. And he puts himself in really, really risky positions, which means he can get picked off. And I think that's the reason why you're seeing Skywrath, Enigma, and Storm Spirit in the mix-up, and while I was flagging the Storm Spirit, because they're looking for control on the Tinker. Like, you talk about someone like a Storm Spirit jumping, and he's going to need like Lincoln Sphere and BKB just to dive underneath March of the Machines. But if Tinker jumps out and he gets sealed up by the Skywrath Mage without having something like a BKB or his own Lincoln Sphere, I'm sensing a very similar problem for Excalibur.
Yeah, it is going to be a hard Tinker game, I think, and now Empire are actually going to make it even harder. This is just Tinker counter almost their draft. Seems like, you know, being a team and going a game like this and having to focus that much on locking down one player just, I would say, innately puts Fnatic at an advantage, because they know that, okay, if we put Excalibur on this kind of hero, Empire are going to put so much effort into locking Excalibur down that maybe it creates space for other heroes. Now, the thing about Fnatic's draft, though, is that they don't really have anyone you really want to create space for apart from the Tinker. Like, Mirana is a decent late gamer, but really not, in most cases, not that good. And the other heroes are heavily utility-based, so I think Empire's strat of just shutting down Tinker here could actually work out very, very well. If Storm Spirit and Clinks have a good game, I think they can take it. Although I love the Lion last pick. I think it's really good against Empire's lineup.
Yeah. And Honey still likes that Lion kind of pick up. But yeah, man, it's
5 seconds remaining.
Do you remember Quantic? It would have been like 18 months ago or something like that, back when Korok was still playing for them.
Yes.
The 4 Protect 1 strat. Fnatic just over the last month have made me think of nothing but that original Quantic lineup. That's almost, if you like, how their playstyle feels. It's like protect Korok. In this case, it's like protect Excalibur. Make sure he's big. We'll throw our corpses there and Excalibur will
He is going to need protection in this game. I'll tell you that. This is a very hard lineup to fight into as Tinker, but that's why it's really interesting to watch as well, because this is the, you know, whenever a game is over and someone ends with a really good score, or you feel like he had a very high impact in the game, you always need to look at what he played against. And I think this is the kind of game where if Tinker plays well and ends on a good footing, or how to put it, if he ends with a good result and has a high impact in the game, it's very impressive. There's been previous games where people were like, oh, Excalibur is out of this world. He's completely amazing on Tinker. And yes, he's good, but there's also been some of the games maybe haven't been the hardest Tinker games. I think this is the type of game that really puts him to the test. If he does well in this game, he is indeed really amazing, because this is hard. And I'm almost sounding like I'm an Excalibur hater, which I'm not. I think he's been playing really well, and I've been impressed myself, but you always need to be a little bit careful with jumping the gun on those kind of statements, because, yeah, there's always 2 teams in the game, and it could be many factors, but he is really solid, and I'm looking forward to seeing him this game.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how he's able to handle the matchup. We're waiting for Team Empire to get the last player in and we get this thing underway. For those who have just tuned in, I know we are still picking up a lot of viewers. Please get out there on the Twitters and the Facebook to let people know where they can find the live stream, not the place where Cinderin sent them.
Oops.
Well done, Sind.
Happens. I made a mistake.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll reply with the classic. You can always find it on Join Dota. We have everything there, man. And we got all our streaming platforms working. But yeah, huge shout out to Dailymotion as well for pumping up this tournament. It's been a pleasure, and I know they've upgraded their systems massively, so everyone should be having themselves a good viewing experience this evening, so we can also enjoy the games. But yeah, we're underway. So as far as all the teams coming out, we've already got movement coming out from Empire. Now we've got 2 Observe Wards and Sentries, and looks like that's going to be the same for both these teams. I cast so much Dota, Chinese Dota recently, man. Like, all I remember seeing at the very start of every single game is 3 to 4 wards inside the enemy jungle. No ability to stack, no ability just to mass farm. It was always shut down. The Ancients were watched like an absolute hawk, or in this case, by a hawk. There's just so many different options right now for, like, block up all these camps or keep tabs on them. An interesting ward they actually put up here on the top lane. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that does actually block this camp.
Yeah, no, I don't think it does, but that's one of the, this is a ward I pretty much never see, and the spawn box for this camp here is pretty small. I would think it doesn't block, but I could be wrong. I'm not going to be 100%.
I know it's pretty tight. It's pretty tight across here, but there was some reworking to the box, I think, which had it like go above the tree line because of like the pulling that happened up this way.
No, I think the boxes have always stayed the same. The thing that was changed was when the creeps gave up chasing you. This camp was one of the camps where the creeps they chase you for 2 seconds less or something like that, and because of that stacking got harder. But that means the spawn boxes, I think, have been completely untouched for the entirety of Dota 2. I don't think anything got changed, and because of that, I'm going to say this ward does not block. I'm going to look like an idiot in 10 seconds.
Oh, Ben's
yeah, let's introduce the teams. Do do that yet? I think
No, we
actually
haven't.
didn't. So, all right, I'll do Empire. We've got Mag playing as the Brewmaster in the off lane, and in the mid lane will be Resolution on his Storm Spirit, and bottom lane, trial lane for Empire will be Vanscore on Skywrath. We've got Always Wanna Fly on Enigma in the jungle, so 2.5 lane, and Silent will be playing as his Clinks, which he is very famous for.
Yeah, he loves that man. And well, I'm watching right now. Big Daddy, formerly known as No Tail, officially has changed his nickname. Again, trying to get rid of this damn sentry ward, but they've just committed 2 sentry wards on this bottom lane to stop the Ancients, to stop that Ancient sentry ward from remaining there. They can't de-ward this camp anymore, unless they're going to spend even more money. But they're just going to be No Tail on the bottom lane as the Beastmaster. Big Daddy, sorry. Fly is the Lich. We'll have Excalibur, the middle lane. Tinker going up against the Storm Spirit. And that puts Hani supporting Lion on the top lane with Mr. Boots first. And he's babysitting Trixie, who's now gone into the #1 role for our game today.
And okay, so 2 things. First of all, the ward did not block, so I did not look stupid. That's the first good thing. The second thing is, why did they actually place this ward? Because it's not that usual to see, and it's not really that useful right now. They want to see when Fnatic are stacked.
Tinker disappears.
Right?
Like, that's gonna be the only thing. Like, if there's a stack, maybe they can send someone over to mop it up. That's gonna be the only other option.
I think the problem with this, it makes a lot of sense for me that Empire is doing this, but I think it might be a little bit too early, because what they want this ward to see is when Fnatic goes to stack, exactly like you said, and then they want to gank, but they can't do it until Storm is 6. They're running a safe lane, tri lane, and there's a Brew solo top. I don't think they can actually even contest Excalibur going into the jungle at this point, unless the support smoke up and rotate, in which case it's going to be absolutely beautiful, but that might be really hard to time.
Finally, the Ancients are spawned on bottom lane. It's taken 2 minutes before they're able to make that camp available to Fnatic, but it took them 3 sentry wards they had to burn through to make it so. I'm just watching the Ancient stack and any kind of stack, because this is the game where you just search for this kind of stuff. Also, Vanscore, searching for Waddle. He's just sitting there with an invis rune. If he waits long enough, actually, the courier's taking forever.
It's not going to be 3 minutes before, though, so they won't be able to upgrade it.
No, they won't be able to.
When
but
he
look where
attacks
Excalibur's coming back. Vanscore's still invis, but he knows it's wearing off. And actually, look where the courier is. It's holding back. I think Fnatic are going to be very much aware that Vanscore has stopped harassing on the bottom lane.
It's coming in now.
Oh, dude.
He's actually going to get it. They can't upgrade it yet. They're 3 seconds off. 2 seconds. 1! Oh my god! He killed it at 2:59. That's gotta suck.
Even if they made him fly, man, it was never going to escape from Vanscore's secondary attack. It's never going to get free.
It gets a lot more tanky when you upgrade it, though, so I think it would survive. I'm not sure. When you upgrade it, I think it carries over its percentage health.
Which means it would have set at half-life.
Yeah, and then you need to hit it twice, at least with Skywrath, when it's at half. When he has 47 base damage, I think. But yeah, no matter what, that was just amazing from Empire. Now, one thing I want to talk about, actually, that I noticed, if you check Tinker's cosmetics, he's wearing one item, which is the Boots of Travel, which come with the compendium. But what's really interesting about it is that it's counting rearms. And I want to see how many times he rearms over this game. So you can see right now he's used 735 rearms with these boots on. Do you want to make a bet on how many times he rearms with Tinker in the game?
In this game?
Yeah.
Man, it would really depend how long it's going to go on. Considering Empire's early game, I'm only going to say he's going to rearm maybe 20-25 times.
Wow, okay.
And that's just because I think Empire currently have a lineup that's going to snowball the living crap out of it, that he's going to be so cautious, and like this game can be over in like 25 minutes. That's the only reason why I'm saying that.
Okay.
If this was a really late game, sure, I'd go up around 60 to like 70.
Okay, so you say 20 to 25.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right, I'm not gonna be a pussy and just say plus or -1. So I'm gonna say 40, so it's a little more exciting, and then we'll see who's closer. But I actually have a feeling you might be right. They got the courier kill early on, and Excalibur, as a result of that, is actually losing mid lane kind of heavily. He's got 17 and 4 against 25 and 9, and it's been a one-on-one. So Resolution has just outplayed him in the lane, and without being able to bottle refill on Tinker, I think he's actually going to be really crippled, because he doesn't have the Soul Ring to give him the secondary boost in mana. So he will be running out, and contesting runes against level 6 Storm Spirit with Tinker, it's just impossible. He won't get a rune.
The other reason why I'm saying this is because like moments like this on the bottom lane, the damage output of Team Empire in the early game is ridiculous. And you look at what Silent's actually building into. An average of 142.8 times a game. Okay, wow.
Yeah, I thought your call was all.
Jumping on Excalibur here in the middle lane. Honey's going to come in and hex up and Mag. He's ready for the collapse now. Excalibur, he's still got 3 bubble charges, but won't be enough. Resolution, quick jumps to evade Honey's attack and to get himself out of that march from the machines. Always want to fly, took a lot of damage for that as well. But they get first blood over on Excalibur.
So if Tinker uses rearm about 140 times per average per game, then he has really not had these boots for that long. Then, or he's played 5 games with them, or doesn't practice the hero at all in pubs. You know, that's those are kind of the options. Maybe he only plays them in the officials. Maybe he feels like he's confident
He's
now.
still got 137 kills though for 735 rearms. Like if that's the case, his efficiency levels through the roof. Honey's in trouble.
Pretty good.
Resolution was waiting for him. He doesn't have enough mana though to really finish the job here. But he's making sure Harney's going to walk all the way back to base straight away. At the same time, Lich, surprisingly, is able to get himself a kill. Didn't use his ultimate for this one either. And there was no ultimate from Big Daddy either. It's just Klink's dead in the bottom lane, so I assume he just got himself caught out.
Yeah, might have gone a little bit overconfident on Fly there, and as a result of that, Fly's actually going to be level 7 now. It's 6 minutes in, which is absolutely amazing. Lich with high levels early on should not be underestimated. These 2 nukes combined that he has at this point can take 3/4 of Silent's life.
Yeah, at the
which he
same
might
time though,
need
you
to
can
do
see
right
how much of the
now.
life points of Fly can be removed from him. One more searing arrow, and all seven levels that experience just gets shared between Silence as well as Vanskor.
Oh, was there a thing? I actually don't remember. Was there a patch at some point that changed it so Ancient Seal gives flying vision on the target? Or am I imagining things right now? I could be imagining things.
You know more than I do about this right now, because I know nothing about this.
I'm not sure. I just felt like the attack that Silent got off, Fly was actually trying to fog him.
Pick up, drag back, Thunderclimb so high level, but his jump away. That last attack with the buff up as well, with the overcharge from Resolution, was able to fly and catch him. And 3-1. This is the reason why I was betting so low on the Tinker. It's because you just look at the Team Empire lineup. You got Mag on this off lane. It's a Brewmaster who's only got 4 CS, but he's got 1,000 gold already. 1,100 in fact. So if he wants to rush a Blink Dagger, it's still going to come there in some reasonable amount of time. You can always want to Fly, who's almost got enough money to finish up his Buckler. At which point, you'll be looking at most of the mech being completed. And you got Resolution, okay, I know it's just treads, but they're coming in here and now they're scouting out the fact the camps are here. With Midnight Pulse as well as Static Remnant, they probably could clear through a lot of this. And this is where I'm not quite sure Fnatic can really get ahead. Like Excalibur, he's doing the first stack farm now.
Uh-oh, Honey.
Where's Honey caught out? That's the middle lane. And they've got to get down to this ancient area right now and leech some of this experience.
You can't leech it on Ancients.
Oh, that's true, you can't. You got to be in there.
They have to farm it to get the last hits. Those are the only camps. Those and Roshan are the only neutrals in the game that only the last hitting team gets experience for. So yeah, Excalibur gets a lot out of this, but still.
Fly! Fly! Vanskor waited perfectly in the tree line just for him to come just a little bit too far out. And then Silent just turns a level 4 searing arrows. And they're going to tier 1 tower in the bottom lane to boot for this one too. And Harney is considering a denial. Excalibur, Mr. Soul Ring, and March from the Machines trying to keep a distance here. They won't get the denial here. In fact, Harney, he's just so low. Vanskor, no mana for another orb, however. We can't finish the job, and Silent was a little bit too far back.
I think Silent might have actually been able to try to go for that kill. They should know that Tinker has maxed March of the Machines, so I don't think Silent was at risk there with the Ancient Seal applied to Lion, but they got what they came for. They got the tower. And they're getting stuff everywhere, it seems, right now, Empire. Now Mag, actually Mag is... He is... Okay, he's still...
He can just rush to a Blink Dagger. He's 100
He has it in a moment.
Yeah. Because with the tower going down, if Always Wanna Fly was able to finish what he started here in the middle lane, he'd be having the money right now. And Always Wanna Fly's already got the mech. We're 9 minutes 30 in. Obviously Enigma is always going to farm fast. But he has a mech up and running, and he's pushing the mid tower, which is already at half life.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Again, what? Okay, please.
Yeah, I was not looking there either. That's not where I was expecting a kill to happen.
This time, though, the Lich ulti was used, and Hana used both Hex as well as Stun. So they caught Silent out legitimately this time.
Yeah.
As opposed to just a cross-blast kill.
Excalibur is going to get his Boots of Travel now. We're 10 minutes in, so that's pretty good considering that he died once in the mid lane. This is generally about the timing that you want to have it on a mid lane Tinker, so looking good for him. And this is going to be the last time I bring that thing up, by the way, with the Boots of Travel counter thing. It doesn't show. He's used Rearm a couple of times in this game and it hasn't updated, so we won't have our answer.
We have to wait until he plays Tinker the next game.
Yeah.
Before we can work out if we're right or not. Mag's here in middle lane with Blink Dagger as well as Split in level 7. Gonna throw that one out there. The Fnatic do not want to be anywhere near this lineup of Team Empire. Up against Meg, Black Hole, a Resolution jump in. They're going double Orchids as well over here on Team Empire. So it's a high level of disable once it's up and running.
Yeah, they're looking really good. I think for Fnatic, it's going to come down a lot to Hani's reaction time. He needs to land the Hex really quickly when Brew blinks in, because if he gets insta-hexed, they have enough control to bring him down. They have the Hex, they have the Impale, and lots of damage from Lich. Arrow, Big Daddy is going to reach level 6 in a while as well.
He's doing a D-Ward of their D-Ward, turns it around, throws the ulti out, solos Hani with one more attack. But now Excalibur will come in and finish him off. At the same time, though, Silent has the high ground. Excalibur's getting nowhere. He goes down, and now they've actually trapped in fly. They need some reveal, however. Moonlight Shadow's protecting him. Resolution with the first jump. He can stick with this one. Moonlight Shadow wears off in just a couple of seconds, but the arrow comes in from Trixie with the Starfall, and the Beastmaster Actus. With the arrow set up, they're able to hold him land long enough, but now also No-Tail gives away his own life points.
Yeah, Empire are so good at playing from this position. They're one of the best teams, in my opinion, at playing with an early advantage, so this has to be scary for Fnatic. And you just see they go for maybe not the most aggressive items, but it's pretty damn close. Like you say, double Orchid, Brewmaster Blink first with regular boots. Enigma Mech, I'm assuming maybe Always Wanna Fly will go straight into Blink as well instead of BKB, because there is Primal Roar, but I still think BKB might be the better choice. But overall, they're just playing so aggressively. Vanscore, beautiful play by him there to realize he could take the solo kill on Hani as well, so they're making the most out of the situation.
With the DD rune, Silent, whoa, man. He's got a lot of the Master Machine damage, and now he walks into Sentry Ward range. He couldn't have known. He really could. Actually, could he have known?
No.
The Sentry Ward's only brand spanking new. Like, he had to get scouted out somewhere. I didn't see any dire reserve wards or Sentry Wards on the map apart from that one. But it was planted after he walked past it. Now Vanscore, well, he throws a concussion shot out. Raw will be used by Brewmaster. Jumps in for the clamp. The Lich on is going to go. It doesn't bounce up, however. And Mag just wants to walk away because he doesn't have mana for his ultimate. The downside about going Blink Dagger first, Brewmaster with no arcanes.
Yeah, he's either going to have to go for Arcane Boots, or for some other solution he can go Treads. He can maybe work on a Drum just to get some all stats, etc. But right now, he definitely does not have the mana pool to do it, unless if he has full mana. When he's clapped once, he can't clap Split again. So that's what he paid for right there. Maybe he could have got a kill. Top lane though, Empire is just really aggressive here. I think they know line is there, but it looks like Always Wanna Fly just doesn't care about it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I don't know if you were saying this one before and I just missed the point of it, but yeah, we'll never actually know how many Tinker rearms he's used, because it doesn't count in private lobbies.
Oh, okay.
Alright, top lane, Brewmaster Split's gone. They're going for Hani. They want his Finger of Death off this field of play, and they're going to get it too. He's already down. Always Want to Fly. Can't decide really what to attack, from being hit by the tower as well as the Frost Blast. Takes away his life points, and they try and use Moonlight Shadow just to give a little bit more cover fire here. No Tail, no Roar, 13 seconds still on cooldown. Silent is looking for a Dark Pack unit, but he's going to be right behind Trixie. Resolution as well. Trixie sealed up and brought down. Even though he does pick up a double kill, they'll move over towards Fly, so he's on the sidelines too after one attack from Resolution. Has to ultimately get himself in range. Finally gets stopped with Mag blinking up to bring down Big Daddy, and Hani returns to the engagement just to finger the Storm Spirit down. And the push can continue to come on the top lane. It's a 192 life point tower. It shouldn't survive this anyway.
That was actually pretty funny to see from Resolution. I think he cancelled this attack animation like 3 or 4 times on the last hit on Fly, and it's because he was slowed by Frost Armor, and he's just so comfortable with his hero's attack speed. He was expecting to be able to.
Tinker's coming in right now, but Mag doesn't really have a lot of mana to play around with this one. He's getting, well, rocketed as well as lasered, but he's very, very tanky. If you could clamp straight away, they could have killed off Hani, but he didn't have the mana again to do so. Please get this Brewmaster some Arcane Boots.
He just got 2,000 gold off of this, so I think he's cruising. Yeah, maybe he just rushes the Ags. Maybe he doesn't even get an early mid-game item. I think he will.
Point booster? There's the point booster.
There we go. And this is something that I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot this game. Solution solos up Excalibur, and it's incredibly easy. He doesn't even have the Orchid yet, and he was still able to do it. If there's no backup available for the Tinker, he will die if he gets caught. He cannot do anything with his own hero until he has some much bigger items. And Storm is going to snowball harder than him, so I think he's going to pretty much be able to solo him the entire game.
No, you're not going to win this fight, man. Even with Ball, you're not going to win the ward battle. Yep. And now he's even going to get orbed up for his troubles and attacked by Ancients.
It's gotta suck.
The amount of sentry walls being thrown into this bottom lane is ridiculous. Like, just to stop the Ancient stack, and it's 100% legit. Because you've seen it from Fnatic. This is one of these things where Fnatic, like, they do get themselves stuck in their ways a little bit. I remember almost like 9 months ago, I had like a long chat with Harney about things, and talked about like just strats and the ability just to rotate them around. And like, what
top lane.
Are they jumping? It's silent solo killing Excalibur. He'll pop from Orchid.
Dire's top tower
Yeah.
is under attack.
Yeah, but one thing that Harney said was, like, they just make up the strat and they'll keep using the strat until someone tries to counter it, and then they'll just switch to another strat they were working on. And they just build up a repertoire the entire time. The problem is, though, in games like this, when you run the same strat you've been running for the past 2-3 weeks, the enemy knows exactly how to deal with it. It's the Beastmaster stacking, pulling, and just flash farming a Tinker. Like, you knew it was going to come. So they just warded and were prepared for it.
Yeah, this is a hard Tinker game, like we said when the draft was going on, and he's died 5 times already. I don't think it's because Excalibur is playing this poorly. It's just a really, really difficult game, which is why I was a little bit skeptical with how he was going to perform in this, because he's playing under so much pressure. He has to be the one position for his, well, he was playing mid, but he has to be the most farmed hero on the team for this to really work out, I think. At the same time, he's playing against 3 heroes that just want him dead, so it is difficult. Maybe Trixie's doing a good bait here up top. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Sonny gets the Hex.
Son's still got a lot of life points to play with, and Tinker still just dies at the same time. Now, obviously, well, hang on. That went 2 different ways right now. Morana's up and towards the air as the Brewmaster ulti comes through, so it's a 2-for-2 trade-off. They're looking for the kill on Trixie, able to get that Earth Brewing Sun after he's already on the leap, sending that Lich back up into the air, and now in comes No-Tail. He's got Raw Revolver, but Mag back to full life, and is able to blink away right in front of the Beastmaster. The arrow is coming out again, but in 6 seconds time, if Mag wants to, he can technically turn into some damage here. Decides not to.
I don't think he wants to. He doesn't have enough right now. With No-Tail, yeah, was it? Yeah, No-Tail sitting on about 450 health, he cannot do that. So it is, it's looking good for Empire. While we were looking at top, or at least I was looking at top, we had Tinker die again. Just this time got killed by the Storm Spirit. And the problem is, see, this is where the predictability of his movement comes into play. They don't even necessarily need to predict it with their lineup. They have 2 heroes that can solo him. It's not just one. Either Storm or Clinks in the right place, the right time will kill Excalibur. With the Ghost Scepter now, he can survive the Clinks. But if Mag chooses to go, or sorry, if Silent chooses to go for a little bit of an unorthodox build and gets a Diffusal Blade, he will still be able to solo him.
This is just a really tough position for a Tinker. I think we've gone past my 25, by the way. even in a game where he's been slightly crippled and pushed into a corner, he's still getting a lot more off. Now, Mag on the top lane, Excalibur's coming up here to try and stop him. There's already pings coming out. The second they see Excalibur, it's like Empire just flag a big warning bell and say, guys, let's just go top.
Mid lane?
There needs to be a long jump by Storm, and they got him. Even before the ult's able to fly, he pulls him away from the Skywrath ulti. It still gets the kill nonetheless. If he walked through the Skywrath Mage element, he'll be dead anyway. So that was just Lich's slaughter.
And this tier 2 tower mid is going to take some pressure. Honey, wow, that's a bold play.
Yeah, he comes out for the Hex. The Raw doesn't always want to fly. The Black Hole is still available. We still haven't even seen one of these coming out from always want to fly. Storm Spirit jumps up. We've got Alisma split, Excalibur split on one side. Line's already gone down. Trixie leapt himself up, but got himself caught inside the tree line. And now Beastmaster just focused down. With 4 heroes on the sidelines, a huge amount of damage still coming out of here of Team Empire. And inside the base, they're sending Excalibur up. They're going to dive in here. Mag, blink, clap. He needs more help here. He's underneath the margins of the machines and just has to TP out. And he knows it too. There's no Hex, there's no stun, he's away to safety. But the tier 2 tower, dead in the middle lane, and Brewmaster is a full Ags 19-20 minutes into this game.
Yeah, I know you're not a big fan of looking at golden experience graphs when one team is clearly ahead, but I really want to point out how far ahead they actually are. We know Empire is leading this game, but they're almost reaching what I like to call the, I don't want to call it the magical, do I call it the magical mark? I don't know. When you have 1,000 gold per minute gained over the enemy team, the game is just almost going to be over when you're like 20 minutes in. They have 15,000 gold lead in a 20-minute game, and this experience is about 12. Coming back from this from Fnatic would be absolutely amazing, but it's going to be very difficult. They're 5 towers down, the map control is falling apart, and if there's one thing Tinker needs, it's map control.
Yeah.
This hero is very hard to play when you're cornered because you can't go anywhere, and that is really the case in this game. Where do you go?
But where does his map control come from? You try and get a Blink Dagger on this guy, a 4-staff on this guy? One, finding the money for just that is already difficult. You see where he's TPing into. It's the tier 2 tower as opposed to the creep wave up on the top lane. This is how defensive he feels, but even after he gets Blink Dagger, you still got a Storm Spirit. That's why I was flagging him, like flagging Storm Spirit during the draft. I also love this. He's trying to farm up the camps, but there's nothing there. It's already been taken out. So he actually got absolutely nothing from what he just did. But yeah, even if he gets a Blink Dagger, Storm Spirit follows him. Wherever he wants to go, he just follows him the entire way.
I want to point out another thing about the whole lead. If you bring up the net worth, you'll see a big reason as to why Empire are actually ahead by as much as they are. Oh wait, we're gonna might have a fight break out here. No, looks like nothing's gonna happen. That arrow.
If Arrows can connect, no, they're gonna go. Brewmaster in for the double clap with the Static Remnant over on 2. They throw out the Orchid, and already they've taken out 2. Both Lion and Lich on the sidelines. Resolution's locked here because of no tail. But now Resolution jumps inside the pit. The Skywrath mage over, but Resolution can fight him inside the pit. The Rock can still come in from Excalibur, able to find the kill, but they've lost so much for what they're gonna gain here. And Trixie is toast. There's no way he can survive this one. Brewmaster secures a triple kill, and I wouldn't be surprised if Fnatic have their fingers in the middle of the keyboard, just looking at the G button. Because right now, Empire, they are just rolling through Fnatic during team fights. They're bouncing them around, and even just getting one kill on a Storm Spirit there proved to be like climbing Everest. Bloody hard and rocky.
Are you looking at the net worth right now?
I have the net worth up since like 11 minutes, man. That's one thing I will show. But you're right, I do try and keep the gold experience secret.
3 heroes on Fnatic are barely ahead of the position 5 hero on Empire combined. Vanscore has a net worth of 5,000, Beastmaster has 700, Lion has 1,700, and Lich with 33. So just the advantage here that Empire has gained is insane, and Enigma is the position 4 hero here. He is way above. He almost has twice the net worth of the 3 bottom heroes combined on Fnatic. So this is just a power demonstration coming out from Empire. Now 20,000 gold ahead. The last fight. It's just what I love about the draft from Empire is how many ways they have of initiating a fight. They can open with Enigma with a Malefice, they can open with Brewmaster blinking in, they can open with Storm Spirit jumping in, they can open with an Orchid from Clinks, and they can even open with Skywrath Mage with the slow. They have so many possible situations where the fight will be on their terms, and they keep finding those fights. It's just so well done and really hard to play against.
It's got even more powerful too. Like Skywrath's already got an innate slow, but now he's got a Rod of Owie up and running. You got an Enigma who's got a Blink Dagger BKB. It's man, it's through the roof. And now you're gonna watch Silent solo up Trixie now. Enough damage to finish this job, I don't think. Nope, but he triggers the BKB. Oh, always on a fly was trying to come in to stop him. If he got in range for that Malefice stunt, they will be looking at a kill on Excalibur right now, and possibly even going high ground. I mean, this is the perfect way Empire could have played this game. You're up against a team which you know in the late game, if a Tinker gets a reasonable start, he's going to destroy you. So what they look at and go and say is, all right, how do we deal with this? We come in and we say, at 10 to 15 minutes in, they can't repel our initiation, so we just kill them off. And that is where we win the game. You don't have to plan for the late game.
As well.
Yeah, he's dead in the top lane. Always on a fly, started that one up. They're coming in deep, but look where Vanscore's coming up. They don't have any vision though. He doesn't have a gem available. That Moonlight Shadow's already triggered. This is Empire going high ground. I see no reason why they shouldn't.
No, Enigma will have mech again in 20 seconds, and he does have BKB and Blink, so he hasn't even used Black Hole this game.
Yeah, not once.
Right?
There hasn't been opportunity. Every time he's gone in for it, everyone's been dead straight away because they're either Orchid or Brewmaster clapped or Vortex or Skywrath Mage ulti. He's sitting there going, well, Fnatic's never grouped up as 5 anyway. They try and keep their distance. You got Lich and Lion, 2 supports that keep back a long, long way. Trixie throws Arrow from a long way away. And Beastmaster, when he roars, he also roars from a long way away. Tinker's the only one on the front lines because Empire jump him.
It's gonna. Yeah, this I don't know. I'm not sure what to bring up anymore. This game is just flat out over. It's
We get
the
least
last
into the last
struggle
fight.
for Fnatic.
Trixie, man, he just melts in the fire and the flames. The Earth Ruling stun also comes out, keeping Fly out. They've taken top ranks. The Brewmaster split hand's gone. And Arrow's also coming out, but okay. Brewmaster comes back in again. He stuns up Notal. They slow up Excalibur with a Rod of Owie. And Trixie was set up in towards the air. They're still finding a kill here, but they're looking back over towards, okay. See the blink out in time this time around here from Mag. That's 1,210 gold. It's not very often you see it go over the 1,200 mark. But that was a 9-0 kill streak for the Brewmaster, which was just taken.
Yeah, Trixie's gonna get all that gold, so he might be able to finish his Manta soon, but that will of course allow him to get away from Klink's ganks, but he doesn't have it yet. If Silent actually wanted, he could have killed him there, but
He's
might be
against
nervous.
Immortal. I think he's worried the fact that like Excalibur.
Let's go Scepter though.
Yeah. Wondering now if he considers going to Dagon. Alright, well, while we got time before they go in again, chat trivia time. A tough one. Only 3 heroes have over 60% win rates in 6.81B in 40 more appearances. Who are they?
Templar Assassin.
Really? You're gonna throw TA straight out?
Although it did lose a couple of games I cast recently, but it did have a 60% win rate before
but
those.
Over 40 appearances though?
Yeah, I think so. I think TA has...
Hey!
Oh.
Hello, Fly! Resolution, he's got the kill already. They move over Trixie. There's your black hole moment. Come on.
Nope.
Come on, Fly. Come on. It doesn't care if it's just for one person.
He wants to win the
Yeah.
game without using it, to prove a point about how useful Enigma is even without his ultimate. And he's really doing it. He's been playing a great game without using a single black hole, and there is the Diffusal Blade from Silent. Now Tinker is gonna just get completely crushed by him. Love the itemization here coming out from Empire, and just the overall pressure they've put in. What I want to return to is, I don't think Fnatic has actually played a bad game. They're just still getting crushed, and it's just intelligent drafting, and Empire has been playing a better game. The bottom lane from Fnatic, I guess, went better than you could have expected. Lich was level 7 at 6 minutes. They got a lot out of their dual lane. Tinker had 10-minute BOTs. Trixie had complete free farm with a fast Midas. It still didn't matter. It's not even close, regardless. So that kind of shows that either Empire has just played the game of their lives, or Fnatic were perhaps at a little bit of a disadvantage strategically from the get-go.
I think it might be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Oh, Excalibur.
Ghost Scepter will save him all the time. And Diffuser
Didn't
Blade
diffuse
from Silent, he couldn't get in range for it. And with Notal coming in, he's got 1 second before Invis, and they're going to throw a Sentry Ward down for this, but they've already used Raw. Hardy's got to get his stuns perfect, and he gets the initial stun over on Silent, but the BKB is still available here, and in comes Mag. It's a triple climb into a split. They're going to turn in towards the Brewmaster. Orchid is off cooldown, so he just throws it out. With the Earth Ruling stun, that's just going to be Beastmaster triggering from the Orchid. Hardy, glitch holding as well. There's your hole! 3 in the box, and they just keep him held in. Unfortunately, there's no follow-up damage remaining this, because Brewmaster is still back in his normal form. A blink to climb on a Hardy with 1 attack will get the kill, but now he's in a little bit deeper over his head. He bought up his BKB before he's able to get out of here. 5 seconds, 4
Here comes
seconds.
the team.
Where's the blink away? In comes Resolution. Actually, Sans over on Trixie to stop any arrow or leap away, and again, the Vortex not working with Sky Wrath Mage. But I don't think it matters right now. By the way, Brewmaster, Enigma, Tidehunter, my 3 choices. For
Let's
chat
see, yeah,
trivia.
Tide.
Oh!
Tide, I would have said 2.
I
Oh,
only got
wow.
1.
Okay, so TA actually got under there. Yeah, I completely forgot the trivia. So I said TA. I would have said Tide as well, and I would have had no idea about my 3rd. But wow, Enigma actually above 60.
It's
That is a pretty legit hero.
It's the economic game.
Yeah, it's true.
Man, Mag is also really lucky that Mag was able to go off on him just then. Oh, there you go.
38 games, come on. See, that's the only reason we put up that limitation, was so that TA wouldn't count, right? Lame.
Oh, Cinderin. You can't win all the chat trivia, Sin.
That's just lame. I count that as a draw.
Yes. It would seem really weird though. You ever have someone come in and say for a stat, well, in 38, it's like, why'd you pick 38? Are you just trying to slide someone or something through?
You know, it would have been funny if he would have written in
and
39 or more appearances.
you must be 16 and 9 months to enter the bar.
Yeah. Thanks, Nahaz. Really nice of you. Anyway, yeah, what was it? So it was Bane has the highest competitive win rate in 40 games with 64.4%. That's ridiculously high.
I can't believe he's that high too. I haven't seen him like played that much. Or at least like where you'd flag it in your mind saying, yeah, Bane was a really critical factor in this game.
The thing about Enigma that gives him a really high win rate is that it's often a really good last pick. It's been picked with higher priority in a lot of matches recently, but in the games where you can see that you can, exactly like you said, play the economy battle, Enigma is just like one of the best last picks because he will outfarm the enemy team's jungler or their supports or whatever, and be more important. So because of that, I can easily see Enigma having a high win rate, but what's really impressive about it is I think a lot of those games Enigma was actually picked fairly early and still wins, so.
Well, there's nothing you can about it. Like the whole warding up the jungle kind of thing is going to happen anyway, but like teams have almost got to a point where like if you ward up our jungle, we'll just run a semi-aggro tri-lane with Enigma down there. Like we turn to these like very just strong dual lanes with a jungler, or one dual lane off lane with a jungler, which is where like Bane and Mirana work perfectly. Also Fly, okay, hands off keyboard, 5 seconds off the stun, and they're going to kill him off here. Roar as well. The committal up against that Enigma was high. The Observer was set up for it up on top of the cliff, but he was actually standing there still for a good 5-6 seconds before the stun hit.
And I think if Always Wanna Fly has buyback, he would have used it right now, and they would have tried to go high ground. Primal Roar is on cooldown. That's a pretty important ability for Fnatic, but Always Wanna Fly doesn't have the gold for it. He bought the Boots of Travel, so he can't buy back. Arrow again. Oh, that was really close.
That had to be on the edge of max range.
Yeah, it hit the Ogre. I think Trixie got the last hit on the Ogre, actually, so.
Okay.
That was really, really close to getting past the Ogre and hitting Silent though, and gotta admire Fnatic's, what should we call that?
Fighting spirit?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's a good way of putting it. They're at least being persistent here. They have to feel the pressure right now, but they're looking for whatever they can find, and maybe now.
Sentry
I think Fly should not have been over there. That kind of gave it away.
Vanscore's the neighborhood, the rockets are coming in at the moment, they're jumping over, there's Mag in the middle of the fight, and Big Daddy, he ain't so big anymore.
Level 3 Skywrath ult. He's pouring that Beast Master, he's got boots and a stick.
And the Beastmaster has a, actually, what is he? He's at 785 net worth over on the Beastmaster. I know it's a support Beastmaster, but 785 up against a Skywrath Mage. Skywrath Mage is actually 10 times his net worth. Just to put that in perspective, it's a full 10 times the difference. Well done, Mag. Would you please stop fighting arrows?
And I think, to put things in perspective, I think we had a stat at some point during the TI4 qualifiers. The team that have this type of lead are currently about 500 to 0 in competitive matches. So I don't think any team has ever come back from this kind of deficit 32 minutes in. Tinker is one of the heroes that could, but Empire has to have the worst late game performance ever to lose this game at this point, but
I think you need more turtle abilities too, and something which in the like Tinker still needs map control before he's really effective in the late game. You need something like a Coddle, a Spectre, a Dazzle, something along these lines that lets you stay alive and continue to fight inside your base if you're going to attempt the oh my amazing kind of comeback kind of thing. Like that's what you would require. But like Beastmaster Axes at level 4, like it's just not enough. And you see what Silent's doing. Like, he just runs up here and he comes to Soul Spirit. They instantly silence Excalibur. They move over to War Strix. The buyback comes down from Excalibur, but the Skywrath Mage ultimate also flew out just to ensure that Mirana was dead. Look, they've lost range tracks in mid. The top lane still pushing him with supersized mid creeps, and Brewmaster now is on top of the Tinker. If they kill him off here after buyback, where's your black hole? Come on, Always Wanna Fly. You can blink into this, man. You got so many different targets. Excalibur is behind him looking for the last hit, but GG. GG is the call. It will finally be done, and yeah! But unfortunately, Liv Chelsea goes through the BKB immunity. Which is why I thought like before when you said, I wonder if Enigma would get a BKB first, which he did, but we never really saw the effectiveness of it because he got a blink dagger almost instantly after.
Yeah, and the good black hole he had, they were 2 against 5, and they basically stalled for like 10 seconds until the team showed up. If the team was there when he used the black hole, there would have been an instant triple kill for someone, but yeah, they didn't need it. Just amazing play from Empire.